All right, in this video, I'm going to continue to go over exercise problems. So here we start. I finished the homework set 8, right? So today I'll start from the homework set 9. Okay, um, so we're gonna deal with the crime rate 19 data 1960 through 2014. Okay, so first we import the NumPy and Pandas, and then we read the data. Okay, so when you look at data, so there are 1 through the year and the population and the total, the violent, the property and the murder, forced rape and robbery. So you see that, right? But what is the type of the columns? So to get the this one, you use a dot info. Okay, let me skip it. I'm sure that you know about this. So then dot info, then you can get information about the data set. Okay, how many uh, the column labels, and then what's the type of each columns. Okay, all right. So but look at this. You see here, the data type of year is number, numeric, not a determine 64, date time 64. So uh, let's convert the data type of year to date times 64. Okay, then we use this crime. Okay, we use a PD dot to date time. Okay, so and give me a second. Crime dot year, that is equal to PD to date time, and then crime year in the format. Um, that was that's the syntax. Okay, Y means year. Okay, I mean format is year, and I can say year and a month and date. You can do like this, but because we as you can see that in the data, this data doesn't have information about a month and day. So we can so this data has only has the information about year, right? So that's why I put just %y. Okay. So if when you deal with the data including the information about year, month, and day, okay, then you may put %y and the %t. Okay. So now oops. Now then crime the info. Yeah, we'll see that. Now we'll see here. The data type of year has been changed to date times 64, right? Okay. So now next one. So set the year column as the index of data frame. So so okay. So how can we wanna use year column as index? Then we have to set the index the year. Okay. Then crime that crime is equal to crime that set index. Okay. Then type column label of column what you want to use as index. Okay. The year, and then drop equals true. What does that mean? So drop means that if what if in a column the column year has the NaL entry. It means that in a certain row and column year doesn't does not have any information, the data. So the NA, then we want to drop it. Okay. So yeah. Okay. Now next one, delete total column. So you see total with total right there, total. So we want to delete this column. Okay. And we just say DL. We have seen this, right? Column and then total. Okay. Now next one, group the year by decades and sum the values. Yeah, pay attention to the population column number. Summing this column is a mistake. So what that means, so first one, we wanna, yeah, instead of using the group by, okay, let me use resample, okay? So why? Because as you can see that the data in an index is different, right? Index is 1960, 1961. So this one different. So we cannot group by year. Okay, in this case, we want to use other command that resample. So say use sample to sum each decade. Excuse me. Okay, so crimes is equal to crime dot, you know, resample, crime dot resample, and then uh we want to group the year by decades, right? So then we use 10 AS. Okay, means 10 I can say AS. 10A means I think annuals. Annuals. Okay, so 10 years is nothing but 10 years. So some. So now next one, use the right now we use resample. Oops. To get the see the maximum value only for the population. What does that mean? Okay, so once you do this, okay, all right, let me show this crime ahead. First one, what happens? So now then, okay, look at this. So definitely look at the index here. So 1960, 1970, 1980. So the first row, all the, all of the columns in first row, the index 1960, January 1st, these numbers uh, was obtained by some of the data from 1960 to 1969. Okay, but here's the problem. Look at the population. Population, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense that we, take a sum all the population from 1960 to 1969, right? It doesn't make sense. So we need to, we want to change the value in the population as a maximum value out of maximum value of population from 1960 to 1969. Okay, that's what we want to do. So use the resample to get the maximum value only for the population column. Yes. So now what we're going to do, so here we use this population is equal to crime population resample. Simple. Okay. In 10 AS maximum. Now and then update the population. So crimes in population is equal to population. So, oh yeah, so we got this. So give me a second. We need two. I would say, yeah. Give me a second. Let me see. So here, yeah, so you understood that here? So I believe that you understood this, right? This command. Okay, now what are you gonna do? Let me delete this. Yeah, and then here we, what? In this column, label the column population, we're gonna find the maximum for every 10 years, okay? So the crime population dot resample 10 AS dot max. What are you gonna do? First one, from the resample, they're gonna group 1960 to 1969 and the 1970 to 1979. Okay, so this command will group. I mean, the breakup, not actually breakup, but let me just use that word. The expression break up the whole data for every every decade. Okay, and then they're gonna find the maximum for each decade. That's the maximum. Okay. Right, and then those value, maximum value for each decade, stored in population, and then we replace the crime population to the population. So we already the group. I mean update. You see here in this command, we crimes. The data set was already updated by I mean, already grouped by the decades, right? So now we place the population in crimes updated to population. Okay, so now next one, step 9. What is the right? What is the most dangerous decade to live in the U.S.? So now we find out what the maximum value for each column, right? Okay, so now then we say crime that IDX MAX. This is index a maximum. Find the maximum for each the index, but 0 means axis. I told you this axis is 0, axis is what? That is, this direction is axis, direction of axis is 0. That direction is direction of axis 1, right? It's called, I mean, 0 or row direction. This is axis 1, or it's called the column direction. Okay. So now we're gonna find out what maximum in this direction for each columns. Okay. But that's the meaning of IDX MAX of 0. Okay. Now, okay, so you can see that what? Okay, let me move. Give me a second. So as you can see that in 1990, um, 1990s was the pretty dangerous time in the US, right? You can see that. So definitely in 2010, the most recent year has a maximum population, right? But 1990s is the most dangerous decade in the US. Okay, so that's for the homework 9. Okay, so let's move to homework 10. Okay, so give me a second. All right, so we're gonna deal with the data, MPs, um, mile per gas data, okay, of cars. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna import the pandas and numpy, and then we call the two data set, cars one and cars two. So now as you can see that cars one, the data has the what unnamed blank column. It's called, you say, unnamed. The blank column, say unnamed 9, unnamed 10, 11, 12, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These last 5 columns don't have any information, right? Data, I mean. So we want to delete them. What are you going to do? So we're here. So there's a question. Oops. It seems our first data set has some unmarked blank columns, fixed column 1. So we want to delete them. So the give me a second. Yeah. So okay. Cars one is equal to cars one dot LLC. Okay. All of row, comma, MPG. This is the column the label column label of first column through. Okay. And then car. You see right there. MPG, this is a label of first column, and then car, this is label of the column, last column, having data, right? So right there. Okay, it's kind of cut out last 5 columns from cars 1 data, okay? And then cars 1 and then head. So what is the number of observation each data set? Let me skip it. I think you can do it. You can find out the answer, right? So join cars 1, 2 into a single data frame called cars. Yeah, so we use, in this case, look at this. Those two data has the, give me a second, has the same number of what the column labels, and then with the same label, right? So MPG, MPG in the cylinder, displacement, horsepower, weight, and acceleration, model, the origin and car, right? Okay. So now, then how to join cars one, cars two? Because their column labels are exactly the same, number of columns, and then the column labels are exactly the same, right? So we want to vertically stack. It means that we want to attach cars to at the bottom, from at the bottom of the cars one. Okay, to do that we use this. Cars is equal to cars one append cars two. So, right. So now next one. Oops, there is a column missing called owner. You see owner, by the way. Mm, not here. Okay. I don't see the owner, column label owner, right? So we want to add the owner, okay? The column owner, okay? So, but I need to create or import that data, but in this problem, ask us to create the data for the column owner, okay? So how to, they ask us to create the random number series from 15,000 to 73,000. So then we use this then, and for example, let's say n number owner is equal to np dot random. Uh, um, so we want to create the well, owner number, right? Owner number, so it must be integer, right? Normally integer, right? So rand int, that's the command to create the random integer. Again, with the word integer. So 15,000, then c, and then height is up to 73, and then 001. Okay, you know why we put right 3001, not 3000, because no, in the Python the last number in you know is not included. Okay, So, and then size is what? How many rows here? You see that? 398. So size must be what? 398. Then data type equal to 1. Okay. Second. Oh, L. Give me a second. L, not 1. Okay. So MP. Oh, it should be data type must be 1. Second. Let me find out the typo. So it should be MP, right? Not NR. Okay. So we got this. Now next one, add the column owners to cars. Okay. All right. So the cars and then owners. This is how to create the new column, and then add that into the what data frame. Okay. That is equal to and let's see. Give me a second. It should be NR, right? Not MP. It's typo. And the NR. Okay. Oh, cars and head. So we got the owner, right? Owner numbers. I know that was generated randomly, right? But okay, I'm sure that you learned how to add new column. Okay, how to create the random integer. Okay, so the next one. Let me save it. So homework 11. All right. So here we're gonna deal with the data fixtures name. Okay, but we don't what import data set. Instead we create data. Okay, 3D data frame based on the following raw data. Yeah. Okay, so what you do? Let me second. Assign each to variable called data 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so data 1 go to PD and then data frame. And then row data 1. Row data 1 and then column that is equal to row data 1 and then key. Instead of keys, instead of the writing subject ID, first name and last name, and you can do like this. Okay, you can use this dot keys parenthesis. Okay, then same thing, you just do a call. You can assign data 2 and data 3 like this, data 2 and then 3, data 2 and 3. Okay, and then and then um I don't know. So let's see. Bu, give me a second. You can just display using the command print. Okay, but if you don't like it, you just want to use the dot head to display the data. You can use like this. Okay, you can add a new cell. Okay, and then you display each data set. Okay, like this. Right. So as you can see, the data one, data two. I mean, data one, data two has the same number of columns with column labels. Okay, but data three. Um, so first column subject ID is share match with the column. First column data one and two. I mean the column label. Okay, but the second column label test ID in data 3. I don't see test ID column label in data 1 and data 2, right? Okay. So anyway, so keep in mind this. Then let's move to the next question. Join the two data frame along rows and assign all data. Okay, join the two data frames along rows. Okay, and assign. So it means that the attach the let's say data 1 and data 2, for example. Okay, so it means that this question, this problems ask us to attach data to at the bottom of data 1, or just add the insert data 1 at the bottom of data 2. To do that, their data 1, data 2, their number of columns and then the labels must be same, equal, I mean. Okay, so now then we see that, then what we have to as you can see that data 1 and data 2 has the same number of columns and the same the column labels. So we're gonna do data 1 and data 2. We cannot do data 1 and data 3, data 2 or data 3. Okay, no, we cannot do that. So now here, all data, okay, that is equal to PD and the connect, concatenate, you know that, right? If you don't know about the concatenate, then just search the concatenate in the data science textbook. Okay, so the see here the data 1 and data 2, data 2, and then all data ahead. But yeah, you just give me a second. Yeah, you can. You don't have. Yeah, instead of that, just say this. Okay, you just call the all data. Then you can see because the data 1 and data 2, they don't have many rows observations. So you don't have to call the you don't have to use dot head. Okay. Now next one. Excuse me. Hello. Yeah. Is it okay? It works. All right. So now, excuse me. Okay. So now join the two data frame along columns and assign to all data columns. Right. Join the two data frame along the columns and assign to all data columns. Now then, let me do this. Now we're gonna do. Let's see. Give me a second. So, let's see. As you can see that here, look at this. Um, Definitely from the solution, from the answer, you can see that we have to deal with data 1 and data 2, right? All right. So to attach data 2 and data 1 side by side, I mean just the merge two data side by side, then we use this all data column. Let me just create the name of the new data frame, and then PD we use the concate. Okay. Okay, and then data 1 data 2, data 2, and then we put this option axis equals 0. Axis 1 is what? Column direction. Okay. So but here the default is row direction, or you can put comma axis equals 0. You can put that. Okay. So now then, axis 1 and then all data and then column. You got this. Right? And then print data 3. Yeah, you can do that, right? So let's keep it. Merge all data in the data 3 along the subject ID value. All right. So what I do? So here's a question. Here's a problem. So we got the old data. Give me a second. all data, right? So we already merge two data, data one and data two vertically. So that's the all data, right? So now I'm going to attach the data three and all data vertically. Okay. So how can you stack all data in a data three? We use this PD merge, PD merge, and then all data, my data three, and then on. So here's the problem, right? Data three, all data, these two data are not, they, the number of columns uh, don't match, right? And so now then we, here's a question then, what? Mm, Give me a second. So subject ID, so right here. So now then we what? So but as you can see that this is data tree, right? So data tree we wanna insert test ID because data test ID into all data. What that means? All data has also subject ID, right? You see, all data has also subject IDs 1 through the 8. Test 3 has a subject ID 1 through 11, right? Okay. I know, so the number of rows different, but these two data, all data and data 3 has the same common column label, right? So now the merging two data, all data, data 3 means that we just insert new, insert the what? Insert the test ID into the uh, all data. Okay, let's see. So now then, on and subject ID. So now we'll see. There you go. This. But here's a question. So, I mean, so subject ID start. Look at the value in subject ID 1 through 8, right? But test 3 is a 1 through 11. Well, we just got 8 because the number of, I mean, observation in subject ID is just 8, right? In all data. That's why we just got this. Subject ID, first name, last name, these three columns come from what? All data. Okay. Test ID come from data 3. So these two data set share the subject ID, but all data has only what? 1 through 8 subject ID. So when you do this, when you do PD and merge, when you run this one, then this command will drop the what? 9 to 11 test ID values. Okay, right. Now, next question. Merge only the data that has the same subject ID on both data 1, data 2. So, give me a second. Let me see. Also one thing that I missed that is, so here the we joined the when you join two data, then as you can see that what data one, this data one. Let's look at this data one subject ID, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Is it 4, 5, 6? So 4 and 5. These two data, the data values are overlap with the data for subject ID 4 and 5 in data one, right? Because then when you join two data frame along the rows, then we're gonna get this 4, 5, 4, 5. So we're gonna get two rows, pairs of rows whose data value is for subject ID value is 4 and 5. Okay. So that's why we got the, you see, 4, 4, 5, 5. And the test ID value is duplicated. Okay, 61, 61, 60. These 61, the data value of test ID 61 come from what? Data 3. Which one? Data 3 and subject ID is 4. Test ID value is 61, right? Okay, so now next one, where's only the data that has the same subject ID on both data 1, data 2, which is 4 and 5, right? So how can you find out? So we do this PD and then merge, okay? And then data 1 and data 2, 2 and on is equal to subject ID. Okay, and how we merge two data set is inner. Oh, okay. So inner means that they're gonna find out what they're gonna find out the observations. I mean, we can say rows in data 1 and data 2, where their rows. I mean, the rows have the exactly same data values and data values in for each columns. I mean, data value in on subject ID. Okay, subject ID. So in the merge all values in data 1 and data 2 with the matching records from both sides were available. Okay, so now then, mm, let's see. When we use this one, PD and then merge. Oh, is it right? Okay, merge. And then data 1, data 2, and then on subject. Oh, on equals, right? And then how is equal to outer. We use outer. Oh, okay. All right. So now, the second, mm, so here we if you use the set the option for how to outer, then give me a second. So let me see. They don't just what I mean. This is opposite to definitely opposite to the set inner for the option how. So they don't just find out the rows whose subject ID value is exactly the same. What no, just they just do okay. They just merge all of the rows. Okay, but let me see. Yeah, so give me a second. As you can see that here, even though in data 2 doesn't have the data value in subject 1, 2, 3, actually data 2, if you look at data 2, data 2, then the subject ID start from 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right? Start from 4 and then up to 8, right? So there is no data values in subject ID 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 1, 2, 3. But when you do this merge and how outer, then yeah, they pretty much really they don't care. Just but they make yeah they come when they combine they just put the empty NaN non value. Okay, so that they create the row whose subject ID 1, 2, 3, even though data 2 doesn't have one. So next one, that's the homework 11. Then we move to homework 12. Statistic. Okay, so we use the data US baby names. So import. Okay. And then see we read it. Yep. Okay, as you can see that what we have one unnamed data value, data column, ID, name, year, gender, state, and count. So definitely the data type name must be object. It should be string, gender also string, and the state also string. Okay. So how many columns? So range index. Get this. What? I think is it 1 million, right? So more than 1 million. Okay. So total number of columns is 7. Okay. So now see the first 10 entry. Yeah, let me skip it. And then does the column unnamed 0 and ID. Delete the column unnamed 0 and ID. Yeah, I think you can do that. Let me skip it. Okay. So now, and then are there more male female name in the data set? You use this. In this one, use this. Uh, dot value count. Okay. Let me just give it dot. Data frame name dot value count. Okay. COUNT. Okay. And then group the data set by name assigned to name. Okay. So let me do this. All right. So what you do? First one, group the data set by name and assign. So yeah, so in that data set, definitely, certain group of the certain number of the babies have the same name, right? Okay, so we want a grouping, data set by baby's name. Okay, we're gonna do that, and then what? So group the data set by name assigned to name. Okay. Um, next one. So we wanna take a sum. We wanna take a sum. We're gonna figure out the number of babies having the same name. For example, look at the answer right there. So Jacob, Emma, Michael, Ethan, and Isabella. So you see, we wanna figure out they see this one count means that sum of all the babies whose name is Jacob and Emma. So we have to take a sum, right? And then now then to do that, the first one, uh, names is equal to baby names dot group by what name, okay? And dot sum. But here's a question. Here's a problem. When you're grouping name, look at the data set. You have to look at the data set really carefully. Okay. Here, if you do grouping the data set by baby name and then take a sum, what happened? The year that value will be um what? Because we want to get the sum of all the value a year, right? So I want to get this. So let me delete. Okay, delete. Maybe you just do you copy the data set, okay, to keep your original data set. Okay, sum, and then what? And then names dot head. Give me a second. There's typo, right? Okay. Yeah, sorry, I didn't do step 4 and 5, so we still have unnamed 0 and ID data, uh, the columns. Okay, but yeah, definitely you have to delete those 2 columns. Okay. So now then, to get the answer, I mean same to get the exactly same answer, well, we have to sort names and then sort value, and then count, and then ascending equals 0, and head. Give me a second. You ascending false, right? Here, let me see. Yeah, let's it should be, yeah, something. Yeah, let me find a typo. Okay. Yeah, I just delete the this comment, baby names and year. Okay, because when you rerun, as you can see, we have deleted the year, the column year from the baby names. Then when you rerun this cell, then you're gonna get error because the column year has been deleted already. So when you rerun, you have to uh, make this line to comment. Okay. So now, so we got this. So I just sort. The data set was sorted by the count. So Jacob is, I think, in data set is just based on this data set, Jacob is the most popular the baby name. Okay, and then Emma, and then Michael, Ethan, Isabella. Okay, how many different names exist in the data set? Let's see. Let me skip it. Okay. By the way, here, there was, yeah. So in the answer, but it was answer was the right answer was deleted, but we saw that the one of the right answer was the size of the data set, right? So yeah, I know you. I'm sure that you know how to print the size of data set. Okay, this one too. How many different names exist in the data set? You can do that. Okay, so now next one. Now, what is the name with the most occurrence? Uh, yeah, Jacob. But how could we figure that out? Yeah, how could you figure out, you know, the answer was Jacob because you know, well, we just calculate this one. We got this table, so now we figured out, yeah, Jacob was the most popular name. But what if we wanna figure out the answer for the question without making that table? I mean, that data set. Yeah, then do this names and then count and then IDX max. So now next one. I mean, not only count, but also you see, give me a second. Not only gender, you can put this. If you want to figure out how many the ratio between the gender, the male and female of the baby. Not gender. It should be um, names. Oh yeah. So sorry, I've confused with the original data with new data names. Okay, sorry. It should be count. But if you want to figure out, give me a second. baby names. Give me a second. This is baby names, right? I'm sorry. So now this one, IDX. Okay, now see. Second, if you want to figure out the how many babies are male, how many babies are female, then you say this baby names dot gender dot IDX and AX. Not gender. I'm sorry. It should be it should be column whose data type is numerical value, right? Now see names did count. Yeah, we don't. Okay. Uh, yeah, sorry, because I just confused that. Never mind. I'm sorry. But you can find the ratio, right, of the male to female, because I just go over the last lecture video. Look at that. Okay. So now next one. Let's see. And then how many different names have the list occurrence? Okay. Then we want to find out what let's see. Let's see. There's several ways to figure out this one, but all right. So here, we use this. First of all, we're gonna find that we need to find out all of rows. Um, what? Let's see. Let me see the names. So we need to find out all of rows. I mean, yeah, all rows whose data value in column count has minimum value, right? For example, um, in this data set names, the data set, let's say five rows have the data value 0 in the column count, then those five rows must contain the baby names, have the least occurrence, right? Does that make sense? Okay. So now then, so then you see how many different names. We don't have to worry about that. What, for example, five rows have the same baby names, because in the names we already what? We already grouped by the data set names already grouped by the name, right? So each row have the baby names. Okay. So we don't have to worry about different name, finding different name. Okay. So here we're going to do this names that names. The names we're gonna find out what names and count. That one is equal to names dot count dot minimum. Okay. So we're gonna find out all of the observations where, okay, names dot count, okay, that column value, the data value in the column label count is equal to the minimum. It's a minimum, okay, not a minimum count value. Let's see. Then look at this. Then you got the 2,578 rows. These observations have the least number of counts. Okay. So, but I want to just get the number 2,000, 2,578. That we just this length. Let's see right here. What is the median name? It's similar to that one. Okay, similar to this command. Okay. Let's see. So use this names and the names that count equal to names that count and the median. Okay. So there were 66 rows, so has has the median value. Okay, what is the standard deviation of names? Yeah, you say names count.std. Okay, use that one. Get a summary with the minimum, maximum standard deviation quartile. Yeah, you know how to do that, right? So let me skip it. So let's the homework 13. Okay. So yeah, for 13, yeah, I'll just cover this one from the next class. Okay. And then I'm going to continue covering exercise from 13 to next time. So that's for today. Okay, please practice what I covered by yourself. Okay, then please use the command help to fully understand each command. Okay, all right, that's for today.